You want to go?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Coming in hot. I have no clue what I'm saying. It's really weird that you're looking at me like that.
So tonight...
You're talking too much.
Start over.
Let's dial it back like 10%.
Okay. Josh just put me in a box.
Welcome to our 2020 virtual gala. What are you doing?
You can't see the mask.
I feel like I gotta do that again.
Yes, you do.
We've been working really hard. Let's go. Well, I don't know what's happening here. I'm getting really
Take
hot.
7.
Hey, we're so excited that you're joining us here tonight. And there's this guy. Hope you got your mask on. Looking forward to celebrating this evening with you. We've been working hard at this thing for, the past month now, trying to make sure that this evening goes well. And we're really excited about sharing the evening with you, and we hope you're excited about sharing it with your family and friends.
And obviously this whole thing is virtual, but we've done everything we can to make it feel like we're all together. And so if we look like fools with our masks on, you need to put yours on and look like a fool with us, and we'll enjoy this entire virtual event together from the comfort of our own homes or wherever you happen to be. So it's exciting to celebrate 10 years with you guys. Feed the Need missions exist to feed people physically and spiritually.
One of the ways we do this is through our weekly sites, where we have a cookout to not only address people's physical needs, but also their social, emotional, and more importantly, spiritual needs.
Our favorite thing to get to witness and be a part of is seeing people from different demographics, whether rich or poor, whether child or adult. We get to see these people unite and become a community. And what's at the center of it? Jesus.
By having a cookout, we're able to meet people right where they're at. But there's a number of different ways that we can reach people through food, whether it's a cooking show or shipping a meal to somebody's home. There's so many different ways that God's given us to be able to reach out to our neighbor and share the love and the hope of Jesus Christ. It's so exciting to see how God's used so many people to be involved in this ministry over the years. And we look forward to seeing more people get involved, whether it's through one of our weekly sites, maybe starting a weekly site in your own community, giving, helping out with our disaster relief efforts, whatever it may be, whatever you feel God putting on your heart, we'd love for you to check out our website at feedtheneed.org to see how you can get involved today.
The body together is strong and works together to accomplish the goal that God has set for His kingdom. And it's our job as believers just to be obedient and to follow in what He's doing. Will you do that alongside of us? Welcome everyone for the long-awaited Gala 2020. It is a pleasure to be here with you tonight, and we're excited to celebrate 10 years.
Yes, we are. It's been an amazing 10 years, and I can't believe it's been that long already. I mean, it really has flown by, and it's been amazing to see all that God has done over the last 10 years. There's been so many cool things that we've seen, and we've been on quite a few fun adventures, to say the least, along with just the routine of serving week in and week out, and it really has been a blessing and a privilege to serve the Lord in this capacity. So what are some of the things that we've been doing the last 10 years? What have we seen God do?
So over the past 10 years, because of you guys and volunteers in the organization, we've been able to serve over 500,000 meals at our weekly sites every single week.
That's incredible. That's a lot of food, a lot of people, a lot of burgers, a lot of spatulas, a lot of grills, a lot of propane.
A lot of a lot.
That's really awesome. And not only that, but we've got 8 established communities that serve every week at this point. And that is really cool to think about, that we've got 8 teams serving every week. Rain or shine, we're there. So that's really cool.
And then, as a lot of you know, we just got back from a disaster relief trip in Jennings, Louisiana, which was amazing to be a part of. But that was our 20th response to disaster relief in the United States. And so we've done 20 disaster relief trips in the past 10 years.
That's pretty incredible. And we've served over 160,000 meals on those disaster relief trips. And that's pretty awesome to think about, that you guys have helped fund that many. And it's been really encouraging too to think about every one of our trips have always been covered. God has provided exactly what we needed to be able to respond in times of need on every single one of those responses. So pretty awesome, and that's a huge testimony in itself.
Definitely. And 2 years ago, we started a new campaign called our Gobble Kits, which we do every Thanksgiving, and the Gobble Kit, feeds a family that wouldn't otherwise have a Thanksgiving meal. And so we're able to bless them with that Thanksgiving meal. And we do over 500 of those each year, and I bet it goes up this year. So there's been a lot that's happened, and we have a huge reason to celebrate, and we're so thankful to be able to celebrate that here with you tonight. And so tonight, what is our purpose here? What are we doing here?
Well, we have a goal tonight to raise $150,000, and that's really pushing boundaries and limits, I feel, for us. But at the same time, as we've talked and prayed about it, I really feel like that's what God's put on our heart to do. This gala being a little different, being virtual, has definitely got its share of challenges, and not being in the room together, but it's also got some incredible opportunities as a result.
I have to stop you here.
Yep.
We need to decide something, because we're in Texas and I hear it different every time. Gala or gala? Cast your votes now. Make those comments on Facebook.
Off point, dude.
Back to why we're here. I just heard it. We've said it both ways, and I don't know how to say it. Gala?
Gala.
Sounds perfect.
Gala sounds great.
So yes, continue.
Thank you for that interruption.
You're welcome.
So the goal is $150,000, and you can help us get to that goal. And we've already made a lot of progress. It's been incredible to see the donations already start coming in. And just an easy way for you to give right now through this whole evening, and even in the weeks to come as we continue to work towards meeting our goal, is by texting next 10 to 44321. Next 10 to 44321. And we want to see what God does over the next 10 years. We're looking forward to seeing how He moves and continues to use us to expand the ministry globally. And there's been some cool things that have happened this past year with some international work that we've done, and so we're really excited to share more about that. You can also give by going on our website to feedtheneed.org, or you can mail a donation in. You can mail a donation to us at P.O. Box 1542, Bastrop, Texas 78602. And so feel free to drop a check in the mail to us, and that's another way that you can help support. So we can't do this without you, and it is because of your generosity and you responding to what God's burdening your hearts with is how we've been able to do what we've been able to do. And so it's actually you guys doing it, and it's you guys allowing God to move through all of us to be able to reach more people for Him by using a burger as a tool to share the gospel. And so what an amazing opportunity, what an amazing journey. So Jason, what's next?
So actually something just happened that's super special. We've had a donor that has decided to place a $5,000 matching gift. So starting right now, for the next $5,000 that you guys donate, it will be matched dollar for dollar. So
that's pretty awesome.
Again, text 44321 and text next 10 to that number, and we're gonna start rolling, and hopefully we're gonna see our goal of $150,000 met this evening.
Sounds great. Looking forward to celebrating the rest of the evening with you guys.
Hi, I'm Victoria McLaughlin. I'm the owner of Magnify. I established Magnify as a business that incorporated all of the things that I truly love to do and the things I've done for the past 32 years as a military wife. And I'm taking those experiences and those talents and sharing those with others. I'm doing that through an antique business, through home decor, some good cooking, through canned goods, and then just the chance to build relationships with the people that come to my shop that I can share my talents with. I first heard about Feed the Need when I saw the trailer with the logo. The unique ministry of Feed the Need is that they build relationships with people in order to share the gospel with them. And that's really what Jesus did. He loved to sit down with his friends, with his disciples, and eat a really good meal and teach them and share with them. I look forward to encouraging you to magnify your life, your home, your family with the things that bring you joy.
You know, I grew up pretty much living out of a dumpster. There was times where, you know, me and my grandfather, we didn't have enough money. I know what it's like, but I knew what it's like when I was a kid, and I never expected that to happen, you know, as I got older. And when it did, you know, it just like, it was a big shock. I came back in the backdrop with clothes on my back and my 2 dogs. And basically I was homeless. I saved up a little bit of money and found me a place. You know, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was home for me. One of the local guys by the name of Sydney, and he told me about Feed the Need. Yeah, I was kind of skeptical, you know, because it wasn't me. Finally, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try and go. And the friendship, you know, with everybody, all the love that everybody showed was just outrageous. I wasn't expecting to come back to Bastrop and see anything like this. You know, something new to me, because Bastrop had never had nothing like this. To Feed the Need, they're always there, you know, to help out and feed the people, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, raining, whatever. Just seeing the community come together, everybody just eating, you know, it just warms my heart. You know, because everybody's there, it doesn't matter your age, gender, or your race. Everybody's breaking bread together. I still talk to God, man. You know, just because I'm not at church, I don't go to services or whatever, I still talk to him. You know, I got that direct line just like everybody else does. It's a struggle, and a lot of people see it, a lot of people don't. But you don't know what one person goes through unless you walk in their shoes. Then I've been there. You know, I've had some rough times. And you know, that's why, you know, I like to communicate with people and try to inspire them. It's like, you know, don't give up. You know, always shoot for the stars. First started off, I think we served, I think it was like 100 and something burgers, and from there it just grew. I think one time we fed, I think like 750 meals. So that's a lot of food, you know, so the money's not going to waste. You know, the money that people donate is getting put to good use, and that's making a lot of kids happy and a lot of elderly people happy, you know, because some of the kids don't have a warm meal to go through, you know, in the evening.
I'm CHERIE Wilkinson. I'm the chairman of the board at SPIRADRILL. We manufacture drilling rigs that drill big diameter holes very deep for construction companies. They use them in the utility industry, for dewatering, for landfills. The growth that Feed the Need has gone through has just been miraculous and amazing, and just a blessing for so many different communities, where they help on a weekly basis. They help on when there's catastrophes that happen. They go in and they help feed everybody that's there. We started donating to them 10 years ago and helping to support their need of feeding the people both physically and spiritually. And that just really touched my husband's and my heart. So it's been a wonderful 10 years. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. And I look forward to the next 10 years to see what the future holds.
As we just heard Joe Medina's story of essentially being a guest at a site and then coming to be a volunteer every single week. And just so you guys know, he volunteers at multiple sites a week. But doing what we do, we have a privilege that I think is unique. We get to meet people from all spectrums of all different types of life, and everyone has a story. So whether it's homelessness or whether it's the opposite end of the spectrum, we meet a lot of unique people, and it's a joy to get to know these people. And so just like we saw with Joe, another example is the guy we're about to hear from, retired Lieutenant General Kevin McLaughlin. And this guy, just to sit in the same room as him is honestly a privilege. And I feel like every time we're around him, there's this wisdom that's just mind-blowing, but it sticks with you, and you take it and you carry the kingdom forward with it. So tell us a little bit about Kevin.
Well, and even just thinking about our stories and what God's done through our lives and bringing us here, and you guys, and where you're at right now in the room with us, and just being a part, joining in how you got here. Think about what God's done through you and in your life. And He wants to use you, and you have a story to tell too. And so don't be afraid to tell that story. Kevin's got an incredible story, and we got a chance to actually spend some time with Kevin over in Ukraine this past year. Kevin and his wife Victoria actually saw one of our trailers sitting in a church parking lot, and so they looked us up and started giving. They just saw the information on the website and saw it was a worthy cause, and God just burdened their hearts that, hey, we got to give to that. And so I called Kevin and thanked him, and we set up a lunch or breakfast coffee meeting, and we got a chance to just kind of get to know each other a little bit more. And what an incredible testimony these two have, raising their family, moving, I don't know how many dozens of times.
4 billion.
Yeah. And so God's just really used them in all kinds of ways. And as Jason was just saying, Kevin's got a ton of wisdom, and it has truly been a privilege to serve with him. He's also now serving on our board, and so it's really a privilege to be able to serve alongside of him and have his wisdom instilled in the operations, the business side of the ministry as we look to continue to grow and spread it. And we've been fortunate to have several of these guys that just, when you're in the room with them, it's just a blessing. And so we hope that you would be blessed by the message that Kevin has for us. He's just full of wisdom. And so we look forward to hearing from Kevin. And so let's go to Kevin right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be with you tonight. And welcome to the 10-year anniversary gala for Feed the Need Missions. 10 years of feeding people both physically and spiritually. 10 years of being there every week with a meal, a kind word, and support for all of our neighbors. 10 years of building community. 10 years of being there in times of natural disaster to help provide support to our relief workers and displaced families. 10 years of being obedient to Christ. And 10 years of an awesome team of volunteers who serve God every day and serve their communities. We're not only going to hear about what's happened in the past 10 years, but we're going to hear about where God's taken this ministry in the future. And we're going to hear about ways that you can support us. And we're going to challenge you to think about how can you become part of this and how you can live a life of meaning through serving others. 10 years ago in October, God laid it on Jonah and Jason's heart that he wanted them to start a ministry focused on feeding the people in their community, both physically and spiritually. They didn't have a detailed plan. They didn't really have any resources or volunteers or really understanding where it was going, but they knew to be obedient they were going to start. And so on a Monday night in October of 2010, about a dozen volunteers came together in the hardware store near downtown Bastrop, and they fed their first people at their site. They didn't know it then, but they haven't missed a night in 10 years. And that's through God's grace. And today we don't have one site. We actually are operating 6 sites in Central Texas and 2 in North Texas. And it's just been amazing to see how it's grown and the impact that we're having. We're averaging over 1,200 meals every week to people who come. And that's not dropped off even in the COVID crisis. So this has been a work of love, but we're nowhere close to reaching our potential. God's also laid it on the heart of the leaders of this ministry that he wants us to think about the future. Not in any way that would take our eye off taking care of those that are in our communities today, but in asking what can we do to scale our impact beyond just the borders of our state and the borders of our country. Just last October, I had the privilege of joining Jason and Jonah and to a visit to Voznesensk, Ukraine. It's a mouthful to say, but it's a small town. We were hosted there by Pastor Gary Chadwick, who was sent there by his church here in town, and he is the minister of outreach to the Ukrainian people. Our purpose there was to meet with the leaders within several of the churches in the town and talk to them about Feed the Need missions, our model, our mission, how we work, and ways that they might consider preparing themselves to set up and operate a similar mission in their own community. We also had the chance to meet with local kids and their teachers in schools and leaders in a variety of churches, all who were interested in talking to the Americans, but in each case, we had a chance to witness to them and talk to them about the same principles that guide what we do at our sites every week here in the United States. We're also looking at ways that we might scale our ministry to reach beyond the current, or to a broader demographic, to our neighbors from other walks of life. We recently started a new series that's been very exciting called What's Cooking? And in this, we're trying to look at ways to use food and a Christian message to virtually get into the homes of people that we can connect to on social media, where we're still talking about the ability to feed each other physically, but now to spread God's word and impact people's lives spiritually well beyond what we can do at our current set of sites. You each tonight have a food box that has food in there for 4 people. It's another concept we're exploring where we might be able to use a new mode to actually provide a meal to larger numbers of people that they could then share with people around them and their neighbors and create a broader sense of community and further God's kingdom in a different way. So we're really excited about different ways that God's leading us to grow. We know that He will bring the vision. He'll also provide the people, and He'll provide the money that we're going to need to do this. But we also know that right now, if you're listening to my words, it's not an accident that you're here. And so what we would really like you to do is to be a participating audience tonight, to listen to what it is that this ministry is all about, and listen to ways that you might be able to enhance your own life and deepen your own life in a way that you're able to really feel immense value and an immense way of that you're serving in your community. What I call this is living a life of distinction and significance in today's digital world. And I say the digital world because the more and more we have our phones and our social media and those things in our hands, those things that make life and society easier, it's also easy to become distracted and easy to lose that sight on just face-to-face serving of your fellow man. So why do I use this thought of living a life of distinction and living a life of significance? It's a couple of things. One is these words are meaningful. A life of distinction, the word distinction means something that is set apart with a quality of excellence tied to it. And the word significance, refers to doing something so that you are actually noticed of the importance of your work. And in this context, I mean something very different than the way culture thinks about these things today. Today, we have many people who are things like movie stars or star athletes, politicians, those who are rich or famous, that we equate those qualities as having lives of distinction or significance. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having those qualities. That's not the point that I'm making. What I'm saying is, if that's the way we define being significant or having distinction in your life, then it's really not available to most of us. It's only available to that small group of people who are born beautiful or can throw a tight football spiral 60 yards or maybe have 1 million followers on social media. What I'm talking about is living your life according to a series of principles that you have 100% control in. You get to decide if you want to live your life this way. Nobody else has a chance to decide these things for you. And so I'd like to go through some of these principles with you and then certainly talk to you, give you some examples of volunteers from our ministry who actually live their lives following these examples in a way that I think will inspire you. The first thing I would like to ask you to think about is, what are these principles? The first is living a life of service. Living a life where you think about, what can I do to take my gifts and my talents and do something to serve others, make somebody else's life better versus to use them just to further my own interest. The second is living a life of selflessness, a life where you care more about others and things that are important to making their life better versus things where you would just be selfishly hoarding resources and your talents towards your own purpose. Living a life of humility, doing things that no matter how skilled you might be or how God's might have given you gifts, even those that might bring you attention and fame, but that you bear all that with a view of humility and not being prideful or boastful. A life of deep commitment of relationships to others. It's important that even though whether you're shy or you're outgoing or you're somewhere in between, that you have the ability to connect personally to the people around you and that you have the ability to understand them and to make a difference in their lives. I would also say that the principle associated with charity, and in this word, charity, I don't really mean it in terms of giving money. What I mean it is being charitable in your words and your actions and thinking about the way that you handle yourself towards others and being forgiving and being kind with the way that you engage others and that you portray yourself to others instead of harsh or ugly. And then the last principle, living your life by a set of enduring, strategic and eternal values. It's living your life in a way where your faith is foremost, where your family is critical to you, where the people in your community are important, things that you hold dear, that you plan to have there and you plan to hold dear no matter what's going on in your life. If you live a life adhering to these principles, there's a set of things that are beautiful about it. The first is, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, no one has to give you permission to live your life this way. You don't have to be born a certain way or in a certain class. You just get to decide, I want to live my life this way because it makes a difference in how I have the ability to serve others. The second thing that I think is great about these principles is they're colorblind. They know no class or distinction. They know nothing about where you came from. They are totally devoid of all that. It's something that applies to every single human who are all God's creation. The last I would tell you is these are eternal. Christ was clear throughout the New Testament that he expected each of us to use our gifts and our talents, and at times even to take risk to further his kingdom, to further our ability to take care of the church, to further our ability to feed the poor, to feed the hungry, to take care of those around us who can't defend themselves. He expects us as Christians to live our lives where we're focused outward on his kingdom and those in our community. Our ministry, and I would argue that all of you should think of the same way, is not an event where we just observe. What our responsibilities are to participate and to be active in this ministry and to actually not just a beneficiary of it, but a contributor. So if you think about those principles and you think about whether or not you're buying what I'm telling you, let me just give you a couple of examples of some awesome volunteers from Feed the Need who I think exemplify exactly what I'm talking about. And then you decide for yourself. First, let me talk to you about a lady named Alma. Alma is a lady who came to the United States from Mexico when she was 1 year old. She had a baby at 22. That child's now 19 years old. But in 2019, Alma came to one of our sites for the first time. And within 3 weeks, she decided she was going to begin to volunteer and serve food at our site. She also later became a line leader at the site. And so now she's despite her background, despite the difficulties that she's had, she's leading and serving others. And she's living a life of distinction and significance. She came to our site physically hungry, but we not only fed her physically, but we gave her the tools and we gave her all that she needed to now be able to be fed spiritually herself and now to do the same to others. it's been amazing watching examples like Alma. Let me tell you about Molly. Molly is a lady who has been serving at our sites for a number of years. But one night she saw a lady show up with her 4 children. They just showed up initially that night and for the weeks to come and just grabbed some food and left. But after a while, her children began to, the 2 older ones especially, began to get in line and help serve. But the mom stayed off to her side by herself. And Molly just immediately felt love and compassion for this family and this lady. She began to engage her in conversation. They didn't speak the same language. She didn't speak any English, but the children helped translate. And before long, Molly had become great friends with this lady. She had been invited into her home. A level of trust was established. And before long, that lady is now working and serving in the line and volunteering herself. And it's made a huge difference in their lives and an example of that person-to-person connection that exists throughout our ministry. I would like to just tell you, what Molly said about this is she said, it's so beautiful how God has put us together. He's loved me through them, and I'm so grateful for their friendship. God has broken my heart for the people of my community and has provided an avenue for me to take action and love them. It's a great example. Brandon Pfeiffer has been aware of our ministry for many years. He initially lived in Bastrop, and he admittedly watched sort of as an observer the dedication of our volunteers at our sites, their faithfulness, the impact they were having. He also saw what our ministry did in response to natural disasters, such as the Bastrop Complex fire in 2011 and the 2013 F5 tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, where he saw our ministry jump in and feed not only the emergency responders, but the displaced families. And so he took that with him as he moved to North Texas, and he thought about it as he grew his family. And then when he was thinking, how can I get involved? How can I serve the Lord? He said, I'm going to start what has been our first site in North Texas. And so he and his wife made that commitment. They did all the groundwork to figure out where to meet and coordinate with the city, find and train the volunteers, and they started their site. And he hasn't looked back. And so Brandon has been an awesome example of what you can do if you just decide to get involved. Brandon has said that the thing that's made him the most exciting is the joy that he sees in the eyes of his volunteers. That is so exciting as much, and he values seeing that as much as he does feeding them. We serve an awesome God who is already doing wonderful things in their town of Justin, Texas, in his family, in his Christian friends, and in the community. God is incredibly good. And he's seen those impacts through his service in Feed the Need. The last 2 people I'd like to talk about, or the last person I'd like to talk about, is Ed Burns. Ed Burns also has a great story, and he has a quote that I think embodies a key thing that's a differentiator in our ministry. Ed and his family moved to Bastrop in 2015, and he quickly began to be exposed to Feed the Need. The kids of his church did a youth project associated with one of our sites, and Jonah actually came to his church and told the church about Feed the Need and its mission and how they operated. And he decided, I'm not just going to sit back and be an observer. I'm going to get involved. And he began to go to one of our sites and serve, and his family began to join him there. And he's still serving there today. But it's something that he said that I think really struck me. He said, I love how our impact goes beyond a weekly impact. And it certainly extends more than just at the site where we serve. We regularly run into people that we have the privilege to serve at the grocery store around town. But he said, it's not food distribution. This isn't just about feeding people a hamburger. It's reaching out to people and building a relationship with them. Sometimes it's a conversation, and sometimes it's the opportunity to pray with someone, and sometimes it's even more. I'm so inspired by listening and hearing stories about people like Alma, Molly, Brandon, and Ed. They're examples of people they're not famous in the world, they're not rich. Most people other than their friends don't know their name, but they're living examples of people who are living lives of distinction and significance because they've adopted those principles selflessness, and charity, and service to others, and humility. It's a great thing for all of us to consider. So as I wrap up, I hope all of you are inspired both by the things that you've heard, seen, and that you're eating tonight. I also pray that you'll consider what God has on the future doorstep for Feed the Need Ministries and how you might be able to contribute. I ask that you would really think about living a life of both distinction and significance, and living a life that's in accordance with some of the principles that I laid out, and that are some of the same principles of those great volunteers that I told you about. Last, in addition to those awesome people that you heard a little bit about, there have been hundreds of volunteers that have supported Feed the Need over the last decade. And I'd like to end tonight by telling each and every one of you, whether you're part of this gala tonight or not, thank you for everything you've done to serve our mission and to serve the Lord. Good night.
Hi, I'm Cody Whitfill. I'm the lead pastor at River Valley Christian Fellowship. We started River Valley 13 years ago with an emphasis on reaching, helping, and connecting people to Jesus, especially young families. If you'd have told me 13 years ago that we would be standing in this new lobby that God gave us, that we would be surrounded by so many young families in our worship services and in our children's ministries, I would have been blown away by how faithful God has been. But here's the reality. When we started, a few years in, we realized there were some people that were never going to walk in these doors. There were some things that were dear to the heart of Jesus Christ that we weren't impacting in our community. Therefore, we had a partnership opportunity 10 years ago with Feed the Need, and it has so much blessed our lives, so much blessed our church, because we know that when we're doing what God has called us to do in this place, we know that the ministry that He wants us to have is not stopping with our efforts. Through our partnership with Feed the Need Missions, we've been able to touch people who we don't know. We've been able to physically meet needs that we don't see on a regular basis, but they have an expertise and they have a calling and a passion that is so wonderful to see, that is so wonderful to be a part of, because we get to experience God working through them. And it is a privilege for us to know that He's allowing us to partner with people who are reaching people who we don't know, who we don't meet their needs on a regular basis. And so I love the last 10 years what Feed the Need Missions has done. It's been amazing to see the expansion and the growth. It's been amazing to see the sites added and the numbers of people weekly who are being spiritually and physically fed. It's been unbelievable. I am so thankful, and River Valley is so thankful for the partnership that we have with Feed the Need Missions, and we are looking forward to, and we're so excited about the next decade of ministry and partnership together. Thanks, Feed the Need. We love you guys.
I hope you guys are enjoying your mess. We are.
A little too much. Man, it has been a great evening. I hope you guys are having fun with family and friends. I hope that you enjoyed hearing from Kevin as we did. And again, we look forward to where God is moving this ministry forward. It has been a blessing and a privilege to serve Feed the Need Missions, the staff, the volunteers, and the guests, our donors and supporters over the last 10 years. And I'm looking forward to continuing to serve you guys and our team to lead us forward into the next 10 years. We see God continuing to do some great things, and we're really looking forward to seeing where He takes us. He's put a big vision on our heart to not just feed people in Bastrop or Giddings or in North Texas at Justin's site and some of the other sites, but all over the country and all over the world by having locations that serve every week. And so as we look to the next 10 years, it is daunting, but it's exciting. It's exciting because we know we serve a big God, and we're just following His lead, and He just keeps on expanding this ministry, and it truly is a blessing. So over the next 10 years, where are we headed?
So oftentimes people think of Feed the Need as a site that's geared towards the impoverished or low income, right? Well, we're called to reach everyone across all spectrums. And so over the next 10 years, yes, we want to grow those sites as well to the scale that you just talked about worldwide. but we also want to grow other programs that reach different economic statuses and socioeconomic statuses of people. So over the next 10 years, we're going to implement new programs that actually do this.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting you say like we want to, and we do want to, but we want to because God's burdened our heart to. And we want you to hear that. Like God has really burdened both our hearts with this so much, like it's ingrained in us that we want to drive this forward with everything we have. And we haven't given up everything that we've given up just for a few burgers or, you know, there's so much more to this than that. And just seeing God change lives like Joe, but so many others. This last couple of weeks serving on disaster relief and just seeing how God has moved through his church, but also in the people that came for food in a time of need and being able to meet that need, not just physically, but spiritually. And that's what we see God doing through this ministry. And we're so thankful for you being a part of that and believing in us. And we pray that those of you that maybe haven't partnered with us yet, maybe you haven't given yet, that you would consider jumping on board. Maybe God's tugging at your heart saying, man, give to this. And so we ask for you to be bold in that and give. And that's hard. It's not always easy and it requires sacrifice. But really want to encourage you to push in and respond to what God's putting on your heart to do. The next 10, you know, one of the next big things that we need to focus on to fulfill that growth and meeting the needs of our sites and launching more of those sites is training. We've continued to expand our training and development. We've continued to see the value in training. We saw that on our disaster relief trip, just seeing how we implemented training every day, every time we set up and we train our volunteers and how effective it made everybody. It's so important. And so we need more resources in order to develop those training programs more. And they're important because it really boils down to discipleship and teaching and equipping the believer, us, me, to be on mission and be purposeful with what we're doing. And that's where it's so important. And it costs money. It costs money to do that. And so we need your support. We need your help to make that happen. What's another goal that we have over the next 10 years?
You kind of alluded to it in the sense of disaster relief. And so we've got it down pretty well, I think, for newbies. 20 disasters, we're still newbies at this. But being able to respond quickly. And so what that takes is being better prepared. And so I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when a disaster strikes, it's at the worst time ever. I don't know if you guys understand. We were 2 weeks out from this gala, and there's a lot to do. And you guys have been a part of it, and so you understand that there's a lot to do. God says, hey, here, I'm gonna throw you a Category 4 hurricane, and you're gonna go respond to it, and I'm gonna move through it. So there's two things I get from that. One, Jesus throws those moments at you in your personal life to test you and to grow you. Do not run away from the tension. Be in the tension and let him grow you in it. And in growing you, he's going to grow others around you. We see it every single time. And so this past trip to Jennings, Louisiana, the spiritual impact, way more than the physical impact. However, the physical impact is what gets us in the door. And so the burger is just a tool to reach people, whether it's at our sites or whether it's in disaster relief. And the way we can be better prepared for that is financially have everything ready to go, have those funds available so that we can leave even quicker. And so that's one of our goals over the next 10 years is to really grow that budget and how we operate and the systems in which allow us to operate quicker so that we can respond again, not just for the physical need of food and whatever else is needed, but really to reach people spiritually. And that happens immensely in a disaster setting.
So again, our goal for tonight is $150,000. And you can help us get to that goal by donating right now. If you've got your phone, mobile device, whatever it is, text next 10 to 44321. That can be a tongue twister.
Hey, you nailed it.
So text next 10 to 44321. And you're going to be prompted, you'll get a link that you can click on and you can make a donation. You can use Apple Pay, credit card, check, whatever is easiest through that deal. You can also fundraise for us. there's a little deal that says, I want to fundraise for this, and you can click that and you can create a little story about yourself and why you're fundraising and set yourself a little goal. And so that's all in that link that you get. You can also go to our website at feedtheneed.org and click the Donate Now button and make a donation that way. Or you can mail us a check. You can mail a check to P.O. Box 1542, Bastrop, Texas 78602. And all your donations are tax deductible. And so we thank you for anything, and there's no amount too small. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $100,000. Whatever God puts on your heart, I just want to challenge you to respond to that. Every little bit helps, and that's how we've been able to go as far as we have, is because God burdens our hearts to give, and we respond, and when we do, He moves, and He uses that. And it's been amazing to see the wisdom that God's given us through the people that He's surrounded us with to be good stewards with those resources. And we're so thankful for those individuals to help mentor us and just pour out on their wisdom and accountability. And so we thank them, thank our board for helping be a part of that, and we thank you for responding and giving. And so,
in the spirit of thankfulness, we had a $5,000 matching gift earlier tonight.
And we met that goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so now we've actually had another donor who's going to remain anonymous just say, hey, I want to do a $2,000 matching gift. So starting right now, every dollar up to $2,000 gets matched. So again, trying to get to that $150,000 mark. And so far tonight's been amazing. And so we're going to keep it going with that $2,000 matching gift.
Amen.
So I'm Clint Howard. I own Deep in the Heart Art Foundry. We're the largest art foundry in Texas. I bought the foundry back in December of '99 after going to Southwest Texas to get a degree in sculpture and jewelry. I've been making art my entire life. I grew up in the construction business, and so I was always using leftover supplies from different jobs to build things, and so it's just kind of a natural progression to move into sculpture at this scale. So it's a 5,000-year-old process. It's the same process that was used in Egyptian times, Greek, Roman times. So all over the world, this process has been developed, and really we're just doing it the same way with modern technology, but we still have to go through the same motions that they had to 5,000 years ago. So one of the biggest things for me is embracing technology. And so we're using 1,000-year-old techniques with modern technology and kind of marrying the best of both. And so over the last 10 years, we've really engaged in, the 3D printers, CNC mills, digital laser scanning, and incorporating that all into the process. And at this point, we're, continuing to grow and, hope to eventually, dominate the market across the country. I've known of Feed the Need since y'all first came to town, and known Jonah since the very beginning. But it really kind of came to the forefront of my thoughts and really understanding what y'all did and what y'all meant to the community during the Bastrop fires, and volunteering to help y'all feed on Sunday mornings when some of y'all were trying to go to church and yet y'all were still trying to help make sure that people had food. And so my wife and I came, volunteered, and helped cook, and it was really at that point that I saw kind of the full community impact that this organization has on just caring and being there for anybody in need, no strings attached, spreading the word and feeding people and being there to take care of and be a shoulder to cry on, somebody to talk to, advice. And so at that point, I think is really when it kind of switched in my head that this organization was something significant, and that I really wanted to focus on figuring out a way that I could help support. And I encourage anybody out there to, if they have the ability, to support this organization, because it's got a solid foundation, it's got solid founders, and I think that they have the potential to really do a lot of good in the world.
Chip always called me his favorite. And I am Dad's middle child and the favorite. We could probably say that I'm his most favorite. His generosity and how intentional he was about it. He taught us that your money shouldn't be something that you keep for yourself. You're not given this just for you to have all these nice things. You're given this to help bless others.
The man that he was is who I would want to look for in a husband, those qualities of generosity or patience, like loving.
He just had such a big heart. He was such a sweetheart. He just always wants to help others, and I just really cherish him for that.
He's such a great comforter and a teddy bear, great hugger.
If he was here right now, I think I would sit on him, tell him he's not going anywhere.
He devoted himself to people. It wasn't just like for a cause, it was like for the cause, but more than the cause, it was for the people involved. Like Feed the Need, yes, he wanted to help everybody out, but like it was your connection with him and like your drive and your wanting this business that he was like, yes, I'm here for you. Let's do this so that you can help all of these people.
He gave me that eye of like looking for those in need who can use this more than I can.
That's like the biggest thing that he could have taught us, was like stepping out of your comfort zone and like showing God's love to people and showing that like you're given these gifts to like help others and not just to help yourself. And I think Dad did so good at that.
Use the time that you do have and just use it well and use it wisely and spend that time and like look back on that day and think, I spent that day well. He's the laughter that fills a room, that brings with it so much joy and peace. Like just all of these things that just make you feel at home and loved and appreciated.
So first of all, thank you for joining us on this call, and we're excited to actually show you a little surprise.
Sorry, I'm losing my place here. So, Deep in the Heart Art Foundry has finished casting the CHIP Award, and we are so excited about showing this finished product to you. So that's really why we wanted to meet with you face to face, because we wanted you to be able to see it. But first, I wanted to share a little bit about why this award is so important to us and so many others, I think, for so many years to come. CHIP was what we like to think of as a Proverbs 31:23 husband. For her husband is respected at the city gates, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. He was well respected by everybody, and this award, I think, is well deserved. And so we look forward to sharing it with you.
And then the other part is with your husband is a perk of knowing Chip was his giant bear hugs. And so there was never any doubt in anyone's mind that your husband cared for people deeply, as it was impossible to ignore the tight embrace that he gave while giving you a long hug. And so Clint, the owner of the Foundry, was somehow able to actually capture all of that in a sculpture.
Wow. I can't wait to see it.
Oh. So now, so now on behalf of Feed the Need Missions, it is with great honor that we get to show you this award.
Oh. So cute.
And it's so heavy.
Is it?
Trying to make this look easy. But yeah.
That is cute.
Got his hair, you know? Got his glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Clint did a really, really good job. And so now that we've shared a little bit of the backstory on how this award came about, we actually want to tell you who we're going to give the award to.
Okay.
And so the reason for this award is to thank someone that has been crucial to the ministry over the past year. And so just as Chip was a huge part of helping Feed the Need Missions, laying a firm foundation for the ministry that God has driven us to chase after, The recipient of this award is always going to be someone who has helped us build upon that foundation that God has called us to. And so this brings us now to the person that through a lot of prayer and unanimous decision from our team has chosen as the recipient for the inaugural year of this CHIP award. And that is you.
So is the same award going to be like passed on, or is each year they're going to make a new one?
Each year make a new one.
Okay.
So, CHERIE, it is with great honor from all of us at Feed the Need Missions that we delightfully choose you, CHERIE Wilkinson, to receive the award this year.
So there's
That
the
is
title,
so sweet.
2020 CHIP Award presented to CHERIE Wilkinson.
Oh, thank you. You're going to make me cry.
And
That's
so
so sweet.
the reason we chose you is because behind every Proverbs 31:23 husband is a Proverbs 31 wife. Starting in verse 10 and finishing out the entire rest of the chapter is a description of a wife of noble character. You have modeled this for so many, even through the course of an extremely rough year. You are an encouragement for all of us at Feed the Need Missions and for so many who you are surrounded by. We are thankful for you, for your family, and how you guys truly help us achieve our mission of feeding people physically and spiritually. We cannot thank you enough for your love, your kindness, and your ability to make everyone around you feel loved and special. Thank you for being you, and it is a blessing to have you as a part of the Feed the Need Missions family.
Thank you.
And it'll be waiting safely
I really
for you.
appreciate it.
You are very
What's
welcome.
that?
This will be waiting safely for you when you arrive back home.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I can't wait. Put it on my mantle.
You might want to reinforce your mantle. It's stinking heavy.
I think it's all brick, huh?
Yeah, it's straight bronze, which is heavy, apparently.
Wow.
But no,
Thank you guys so much.
you are awesome, and we love you. So let us know if there's anything we can do for you while you're out of town.
Thank you. I will. Appreciate you guys a lot.
What an incredible evening it's been. We have enjoyed so much sharing this evening with you, and man, we are so excited about what God's doing in and through Feed the Need Missions, and looking forward to kind of wrapping up some of the details before we've got a special guest coming up. And so if you haven't checked out our silent auction items yet, or maybe you've been watching and eyeballing those, they've been posted on Facebook, and so you're simply making your bids in the comment section. That's going to be closing out at 9:30. And so get your bids in, bid those things up. Let's raise some money for Feed the Need and make that happen. Don't forget, you can text to give. Text next 10 to 44321.
And up next, have the privilege of calling this gentleman a friend. Gotten to spend some time with him, and this dude, you meet him, he loves Jesus. And so the fact that we were able to partner with him this year is truly an honor, and I'm thankful that Corey is here and that he's going to be singing some songs while also kind of doing some preaching. So I'm excited to hear it, and without further ado, Corey Murrow.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey Morrow, and I'm proud to be here today with Feed the Need Missions out of Bastrop, Texas. I want to read a couple of things they asked me to read because they have an amazing amount of things that they've accomplished, and I'm just going to read a few of them here. Because of your help, we have been able to provide over 500,000 meals, respond to 19 disasters with over 150,000 meals to those. And the best part about the number of meals is the number of opportunities that it's given them to reach out and give the love and message of Jesus. And I think that's amazing, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Each meal represents a person they have an opportunity to build a relationship with and point them to Jesus. They've been celebrating 10 years of this ministry. This is the 10th year, and they're excited about 10 years and excited about 10 more and 10 more and 10 more. I think this is an incredible cause, and I'm grateful to be here today with you guys. I'm going to play some songs, and we're just going to celebrate what Feed the Need Missions is doing and what Jesus is doing in people's lives with the opportunity to meet their needs with food and then give them the message and love of Christ. So I think it's awesome, and makes me want to sing a song.
There's smiles on the faces of the people passing by, and there are scars on their hearts that they hide. Faithful and fragile, doubting their path, they carry the weight of the world on their backs, and I know they've got a long way to go. Yeah, I know we've got a long way to go. But I know every day I'm lucky just to breathe the air I breathe, and I hope everyone can feel this love busting out of me. And sometimes I forget to forgive even me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, oh, that's when he carries me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, oh, that's when he carries me. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. The morning wakes uncertain what will come, and I will question where my happiness comes from. I've lived in castles and out on the streets, and I'm still seduced by the demons that make me weak. And I know I've got a long way to go. Yeah, I know we've got a long, long way to go. Oh, but I know every day I'm lucky just to breathe the air I breathe, and I hope everyone can feel this love busting out of me. And sometimes I forget to forgive even me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, that's when he carries me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, oh, that's when he carries me. Now we've all suffered on this road we travel on. It is cold, it is lonely, and it is dark. Oh, but there is hope. Yeah. Oh, and it's hope that carries on. And I know every day I'm lucky just to breathe the air I breathe, and I hope everyone can feel this love busting out of me. And sometimes I forget to forgive even me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, that's when he carries me. Yeah, sometimes I stumble, oh, that's when he carries me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh, man. Whew. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of this today. This is an awesome thing. And I just, congratulations on 10 years. That's incredible. And I love the opportunity that you guys take to go speak of the love and the truth, the message of Jesus. I think it's incredible. And it's changed my life. About 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago, my whole life changed. And I had an opportunity to take the unconditional love that he offers, right? To take a leap of faith, actual literal leap of faith into his arms and surrender my life and surrender everything in my life to him and have my whole world flipped upside down. Everything that I understood the way that life was supposed to be lived was flipped upside down. And somebody gave me that opportunity, and that was my wife, and she gave me the opportunity to change my life for him and for us. And I took it. I said yes. And ever since that day, I have felt and have been chasing after him and realizing that he was seeking after me the whole time. And so I love the idea that you guys are going out there and you're taking that opportunity of being the hands and the feet and seeking after folks for him, for his cause, for his kingdom. It's beautiful and I love it. And so thank you for letting me be here today. That's all I got to say. It makes it just a beautiful day in the midst of all the craziness that's going on. He gives us opportunity to share his love, opportunity to share his grace and his mercy, and you guys are doing that. So congratulations.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. I got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave, and it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm doing alright. And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just this good? Yeah. Ow, 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 ow.
Wherever you are, you just let go a nice big howl. Ow!
It's been 15 years since I left home. I said good luck to every seed I'd sown. I gave it my best, then I left it alone. Oh, hope they're doing alright. Red bird, what do you see? He said, I see a lone wolf, baby, looking at me. Head in the clouds, but harmless as a tree. Yeah, I guess they're doing alright. And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just as good? Sometimes it's lonely, sometimes it's only me, and the shadows that fill this room. Sometimes I'm falling, I'm desperately calling, howling at the moon. Ow, 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 ow. See, if I get it wrong, you guys can get it right. 1, 2, 3. Ow! Let's try again. Ow. Sometimes my howler gets a little bit off. Ow. It's a colorful life that we all go through. It ain't black and white, nor just shades blue. And maybe I'll grow me a Fu Manchu. This is when you start making some noise out there. Ah, yeah! And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's some hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just as good? It's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's some hard times in the neighborhood. But why can't every day be just this good? Yeah. I feel love coming from above. And I said, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch, oh, like me, yeah, like me. And I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found, yeah. I was blind, Lord, I was blind, yeah, oh, but now I see, now I see, now I see, yeah, I see the light of the Lord, sweet love, shining down from above. He says he loves me, he says he loves me, he says I am redeemed, yeah, he says I am redeemed, yeah, I am redeemed. He says he loves me, and he says I am redeemed.
I'm gonna do a couple more. This is one that I wrote a long time ago, and it's just been it's ever changing for me. It has a new direction every time I play it, and it just speaks to me in beautiful ways. And I feel like God's talking to me constantly through the opportunities that I get to have to speak to people about who He is, and to take the time to play music for people to come into their homes, and I get to come into your home today, into your life, and share that message of His love, His mercy, and His grace, and His unbelievable forgiveness, and His unconditional love. And I think that I believe that this song was for Him upon inception, or maybe it was for me from Him. I need you, 'cause I love you, always and forever. And I love you, 'cause I've known you, always and forever. Will time it flies, time it runs by, time will run out on us all. Your eyes filled with tears from fighting your fears, searching for who you are. Oh, and I will be here waiting, my dear, always and forever. I need you, 'cause I love you, always and forever. And I love you, 'cause I've known you, always and forever. Well, the moon and stars, that old sun stretches far, shining for all to view.
eternally bound. They light up the ground, never once being untrue. Oh, and you are for me that light which I need, always and forever. I need you, 'cause I love you, always and forever. And I love you, 'cause I've known you, always and forever. Always and forever.
500,000 meals. I got my built-in crew back here. They're giving me the high fives, air high fives from 6 feet away, mind you. But they're doing a great job. I want to play a song. I don't know. I feel like playing this one. It's called "Dancing in the Rain," and it's about perspective. My wife and I wrote it together, and it's a new song, and I hope you guys like it. Yeah, it's about the different perspectives that we can take on things that are happening. Now, I sit around all day, not all day. I sit around sometimes all day, some days, and I complain a lot. I complain about what's going on, what I don't have, and what could be better. And it's on those days that typically, you know, my brothers in Christ and my wife, they sit me down and remind me of the things that I do have. And it's nice to be humbled like that. It's nice to see the truth and to hear it coming from the people that are surrounding me. And I just think that I don't want to be talking like that. I want to be talking about truth, and I want the stuff that comes out of my mouth to be inspiring, and I want it to be the stuff that God wants to be coming out of me. So I'm gonna get up tomorrow, and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna read more about who He is and read His Word, and I'm gonna try to chew on that as the first thing that I do every morning. And I encourage you to do the same. And once again, I want to congratulate you guys on 10 years. This is an incredible thing.
Thunder and lightning, screaming and fighting. Baby's been up all night again. Everything feels as heavy as the rain on my soul and on my skin. But down the street, there's a baby crying. I know they've been up as late as me, and they tell me now it sounds like you got perfect harmony. Oh, sometimes it takes a little rain to help you see. And he said, if it's sunshine that you needed to brighten up your cloudy day, oh, let me tell you, there ain't no sunshine that can hold a candle to all the love, joy, and pain you get from dancing in the rain. Worry and fear cause anger, then tears. Tears I don't have time to wipe away. Now she says neglecting, but I say protecting. saving up a future while I give away today. And down the street, I hear the voices laughing and singing Amazing Grace. And all my words and all my songs could not explain the way grace saved me. And he says, if it's sunshine that you're needing to brighten up your cloudy day, oh, let me tell you, there ain't no sunshine that can hold a candle to all the love, joy, and pain. Whoa, if it's sunshine that you're needing, oh, to brighten up your cloudy day, let me tell you, there ain't no sunshine that can hold a candle to all the love, all the joy, all the love, joy, and pain. You get dancing in the rain. Yeah, I'm dancing in the rain. Oh, I'm dancing in the rain. Yes, I'm dancing. Oh, I'm dancing in the rain. Yeah. I'm dancing in the rain.
Feed the Need Missions, ladies and gentlemen, Feed the Need Missions celebrating 10 years. My name is Corey Morrow. God bless you. Thank you for letting me be a part of what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. Jesus loves you, and so do we.
My name's Reed Sharp. I'm president of the First National Bank here in Bastrop. We serve Bastrop County and surrounding areas. You know, the teachings of Christ in Matthew 25:31 serve as a model for all of us of how we should treat others. And we should treat others as if they're Christ in disguise. And in that passage, we're taught that we should give drink to the thirsty, shelter the homeless, welcome the stranger, visit the sick and in prison, but at the top of the list is feed the hungry. We here at the First National Bank believe that this is a good model for business as well. And that's why we're proud to support Feed the Need and all that they do in our communities.
Man, we can't thank you guys enough for being a part of this year's gala, whatever you want to call it. We are so excited about how God's using you and us to reach more people for Christ, and we can't do this without you. And so we just thank you so much for your generosity and your gifts. We thank our staff for all their hard work behind the scenes. There's been so much hard effort that they put in to everything, and so we thank them so much. We thank all our volunteers. We have so many volunteers that volunteer their time in so many different capacities, and so a special thank you to everybody that's believed in this mission that God's given us to carry forward. And we also want to thank our sponsors.
And so events like this, obviously you guys know, like it takes a lot of money to put on these events. And luckily for us, the people that give, it's not just to give money to something. They have a passion for what Jesus is doing through Feed the Need missions. And so the fact that we all get to celebrate that tonight, because it's not about what we do, right? Again, burger's just a tool. It's about the impact that Jesus has on people. And so huge thank you to our sponsors. So the first sponsor we want to thank is SPIRADRILL. They're at the diamond level, and they've been there since the beginning, and they've helped us start and set the stage for this thing to grow.
Amen. We also want to thank our gold sponsors, Deep in the Heart Art Foundry. What an amazing privilege it is to serve with you guys, and for your support. And then Magnify. What an incredible couple these guys are, and Victoria's got a great passion for her business, and so thank you guys.
And if you haven't checked out the What's Cooking show, you should, because she's highlighted on that, and she makes me look like I know what I'm doing, and I don't. And so for our silver sponsors, want to thank River Valley Christian Fellowship in Bastrop, Texas, as well as First National Bank in Bastrop, Texas.
And then our bronze sponsors, we've got Community Gardens.
And Blue Bonnet Electric.
Classic Bank.
Jana Helbush, Realtor.
Birdall Sawmill.
Bastrop Christian Church.
Evan Mullen Consulting.
He's like one of our friends. Don't hate us, Evan. Evan Moylan. Got it.
Evan Moylan.
And then last but not least, Commissioner Melhamner. So we have lots of help to be able to put this thing on, and again, all the way from staff to volunteers to sponsors to hopefully new people we've never met before. So it's been a great privilege to be here tonight with you, and we're excited for what Jesus holds for us in the future.